Fire away.
What did you like about Joe? What does he bring to the table? Why?
Yeah, played him a lot, watched him a lot. Brings great experience, great leadership. His style fits our style of play too. So excited to get him out there. We'll start him this week, so he's going to take all the reps, get ready to go. Already spent a lot of time meeting with us, getting up to speed. So feel really good about where he's at.
What made you comfortable with being able to trade for him on Tuesday and start him on
You
Sunday?
just know him. I mean, I don't know him personally. I've only met him once before he came here, but know his game as well. I mean, it's played against him. I don't know how many times, a lot of times, and so very comfortable with his style, concepts he's been good at, things that fit us that we do. A lot of the terminology, there's a bunch of carryover, more so than I would have anticipated. So feel like we can get him to speed quickly.
One of the things that Al mentioned was that besides his great arm strength, his ability to spin the ball, he's seen so much, like a lot of different quarterbacks. How much, at this point of the season, does that help you?
Sure. I mean, it's different than a young quarterback coming in, trying to learn a system and understand what a defense is trying to do to challenge you. Not only that, but he's played Green Bay this year, so he's already gone through a week of prep. So that's the nice part is now the communication and the weekly rhythm is maybe different, unique, but he's already prepared for this opponent. So he gets a chance to refresh himself on that while at the same time just learning our system and our terminology and our verbiage and how we operate. But also knowing that he's played. Now he hasn't played there this year, and so the crowd noise and all that stuff's different. But at least he's got some experience playing against them. But
Yeah, I'm sorry. What was the one time you met him before?
the Colts came here last year and practiced with us.
Do you have to scale anything back because he's only going to have a couple of days of practice?
We have to be mindful that he hasn't been here off-season training camp, the full scope of our system, but we're doing everything we can to hit everything we can possibly hit with him, so that we got enough to go out there and win a football game. And so that's our objective, is give our offense enough with Joe to be able to go out there and operate and score points and find a way to win the game.
Why specifically were you looking at this and saying, hey, we need to add Joe to the mix here?
He's a great passer. He's a great passer. And, again, we've got to expand all areas of our offense to be better, to be able to efficient, run the football, protect, all that kind of stuff. But the number one trait you're looking for is a guy that can operate your system and throw the football. And Joe's always been a tremendous passer in this league and have seen it. And so now we've got tremendous weapons that he can play around. And so I'm excited to watch him do it.
What was the process like that ended up on Flacco as opposed to maybe other options? How did that unfold from Monday until when y'all got there?
Dude, just let me know yesterday that's where it was at. So obviously he asked my opinion of Joe, and I was excited that if we were able to make it happen, I'm all on board. That would excite me. And so then he just came and said, we got it done.
What did yesterday look like? What time did he get here? What were you guys able to do last night to get a head start?
Well, we talked on the phone while he drove. We had somebody drive him, he and his wife from Cleveland. And so we were able to send him the information to study, talk to him on the phone as he drove down, gave him a break, let him then come in the facility, and we got a chance to meet last night and then met this morning.
It's about a 5-hour drive. How long was the phone call?
I'm not sure how long it was. We just tried to cover all the base pieces of information. I mean, you like to knock out personnel and formations and motions and the easy stuff, and then when you get in here, get the nuts and bolts. So probably talked some run game last night, I think, on the phone too. Got into the run game plan and just the easy stuff that he knew, and it all sounds familiar. And so he'll be ready to roll.
It goes without saying that what you said is true. It's beneficial for a guy to have already faced a team just a couple weeks ago. Why is that so beneficial, in what ways is that beneficial?
Well, you've done 7 days of prep already on the team, and got out there and played and felt them and understand what their line feels like. Understand the basic coverage structures and some of the things that they try to do to stress you. So, on top of studying our stuff and watching the tape, usually the quarterback already knows your offense, and so he's just focused on watching the tape of the opponent. Now, at least the one advantage we do have with bringing Joe Flacco in here specifically is he's watched tape for a week. He's played this game. He'll still need to do the same thing because they've played 2 games since then. But at the same time, it's at least there's in the back of his mind, man, I've played these guys and I have an understanding of how they try to attack you.
Do you feel like trading for Flacco helps promote some hope and some confidence for the season as a whole in the locker room?
I think everyone's just seen him been there, do that, and won a Super Bowl and won a lot of games and been successful in a lot of different places. And so I can't speak for other people, but when you bring a guy in here with that experience and those skins on the wall, I think it's significant and can mean something to guys, but they'd have to speak for themselves on that one.
And then, is there any update on Burrow and his potential to return this season, and are these two things connected at all?
I do not have any update on Burrow.
Along those lines, is this still a move that hopefully y'all can get enough wins to kind of keep y'all afloat for as long as possible? If Joe can't come back, how much of that kind of was the process y'all went through?
Yeah, our number one focus is winning every game we can possibly win and go to the playoffs and go deep in the playoffs. That is 100% our focus, regardless of who our quarterback is. That's what we're trying to do.
Given Joe's age and maybe some of the mobility concerns that come with it, how do you, as the play caller and the architect of the offense, work through some of those challenges?
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for Joe. To say that mobility was ever his number one strength, dating back to when I would have coached against him in 2012 and 13, I don't know that we were ever worried about Joe breaking free for a 15-yard gain. So I think his play style has been his play style for a long time, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Obviously, we got to do a great job around him in the run game and protection and all that kind of stuff, but he understands our concepts already. It's a lot of things he's done, some things he's called the same. So again, we'll do what suits him best. Ultimately, at the end of the week, what are you not comfortable with? There's some things we've called during the week that we should put on the shelf, which is never an issue. We got plenty. So we'll have those conversations the weekends.
Is it surreal to think that he was in the draft 1 year?
Not real. I mean, that stuff doesn't really. I mean, there's been guys that obviously were before me. Aaron Rodgers was before my time. So that stuff doesn't. I don't put too much thought into it anymore.
What was his reaction?
Quarterbacks have been able to extend their careers for as long as they have.
Well, I think really smart guys that take care of themselves and can still throw. I mean, the arm matters. Some guys do lose, some of the arm strength as they go on in their career, and he's one that I don't know. He'd have to speak for that in terms of what he's lost, but I know he's still got a lot of power in there and a lot of juice and understanding when to throw it and the timing. And so I think that those guys that have that above average, I mean, he definitely is classified as above average arm strength. Same with Aaron. Those guys have a chance to continue to play.
What was his reaction?
He seemed excited, the first time I talked to him, and so I know he was notified there, obviously with their people, and but he seemed genuinely excited when I spoke to him on the phone for the first time, and when he got in here, and ready to go.
Is the
What were
plan?
your conversations with Jake?
Straightforward, and Jake was great. Jake's been accountable every step of the way. He's been understanding every step of the way, accepting for any decision we want to make. Obviously, he wants to continue playing, and he's going to continue to work hard to help our football team in any way possible. But he understands our situation.
Is the plan Jake's the backup, and then you got Sean on the practice squad?
Yes.
That's the plan.
Yes.
Do you have time to, do you have time to tailor some things to him, or do you have to plug him in what you're doing?
We got 24 hours in the day each day, and so we're using every second of it to create the best plan. Obviously, we have a great understanding of who he is and what his strengths are. So as we were preparing this plan, yesterday, midday, afternoon, okay, is it this or that? Well, I know he can do that, so let's do that. So there's an element of it's all things that we do. So when our receivers heard everything today, it's all things that we've had in our plan and we've done. And we'll continue to do things that fit our strength as a team and fit Joe's strength as well.
That's how he fits you, yes.
Yeah, I mean that's why we like him, and that's why we brought him in, because he fits what we do, and you don't have to change much. Now you just have to get him up to speed with the full scope of what we have in our arsenal.
What's the most important quality in a guy that it would enable him to learn an offense as quickly as he needs to?
Well, I think that the mental makeup obviously is critical to be able to focus in on what's important. I'm trying not to get him bogged down on things that really aren't important that I can say to him in the headset. I'm trying my best not to take up his brain power and give him information that at the end of the day he can hear once in a headset and understand what I'm trying to say. So just kind of picking what is important, what you want to stress, what you want to put on his plate. He's done a great job of taking everything in that we've given him.
How much of a two-way street is that? Like you showing him this is what we do, as well as him coming back and saying, what about this? This is something I've tried in the past.
That'll get there at some point. I don't think he's there right now. He's just taking it all in of what we want to do, and I always like that dialogue with the quarterbacks. Always, that's oftentimes it can be a weekly conversation as we get in. A lot of times it's a Saturday conversation as we tie up the plan. so I can get my thoughts in order during Saturday and Sunday morning before I call the game.
You guys blocking for him, what are the chances of Lucas Patrick playing this week? You open the return window for him?
Yeah, we open the return window. We'll see where he's at in practice this week. I won't make any predictions, but it was time to get him back out there.
If he is able to come back, do you want him at right guard, or, I mean, what are the?
I'm not going to project. We'll watch him practice and see where he ends up.
How quickly do you make the decision? You find out the trade is happening to Joe's gonna start this week. Is that a conversation with him, and do you have to collaborate, or how?
That was probably the second sentence I told him. It's welcome to the club, and you were ready to start you on Sunday.
Do you have any comparable experiences at your various stops?
Well, of bringing a guy in that had to play immediately, no. Bringing guys in that you're trying to teach the offense. I mean, Mike White and Sean Clifford, last week were in my office on Thursday night, as we're kind of doing a modified version of this, trying to get them up to speed and anything over the past week they had questions on since they got here. So, I mean, as a quarterback coach, yeah, you're always dealing with guys that you're signing during the season as practice squad or backups, and it's always your job as a quarterback coach to get them ready as quickly as possible to do whatever job it is and spend extra time with them. So part of that's been a little fun for me to be able to go back to that, and we got a great staff that does a great job picking up some slack where maybe I'm pushing some stuff off on other guys that I can just focus on making sure Joe and I are on the same page as we get ready for the game plan.
You mentioned, you talked to him, you said you're starting, you hang up the phone. What do you do next? What's your next move after you get a brand new starting quarterback in here?
What was I don't know. Yesterday felt like I said 24 hours in a day. I think there was 36 hours in yesterday. So I don't recall. I mean, we then kind of take the plan and make sure there's nothing quirky in there that we can clean some things up that maybe for a new guy walking in the door it's not necessary. And so just, again, nothing that's significant in any way, shape, or form in terms of us defeating Green Bay, but just making sure everything sounds smooth.
And then will be anything different about practice today? You guys get to know some new receivers?
Yeah, we'll spend a little more time at the end of practice, a little more time. Not full speed work necessarily, but just voicing some calls. I mean, that's always the number one challenge. You look at a script, you look at an install, you say it in your head, it all sounds easy. And then to say it out loud can sound differently. The flow, the rhythm of calling a play. Is this word part of the protection? Is this a run tag? Is this a route concept? And so just the flow of how the guys in the huddle need to hear it, the cadence. Those are all things that he's experienced before playing different teams. Probably not the week of a game, but he's done a great job handling it so far. So we'll spend whatever time is needed extra, making sure he's out on the grass. Maybe not full speed physical work, but just some verbal stuff, making sure we feel good about it.
When you were talking to him on the drive, was that a Zoom where he could look
No,
at
it
video
was-
or just a FaceTime?
That was all. We just sent him some documents, and I had the documents in front of me, and I didn't feel that initially. I was thinking we'll FaceTime, and I thought that's a little awkward to just stare at each other when you're just having a conversation. So we just put it on speakerphone and talk that way.
How about just the physical timing with Jamar and T?
Mhm.
Extra out routes on air, extra drills, or what's that?
Well, no, I mean I'm not going to tax Jamar and T. They're we got to do a great job. I am mindful. We do have a game next Thursday as well, so you do have to be mindful with what we're asking all of our guys to do physically this week and next week. And so I'm not gonna overly tax Jamar and T. If anything, I'm gonna make sure that they're good to go. So that I'm not going to do anything. If anything's just standing and catching, so they can feel the power of his throw. And kind of the nice thing about Joe's arm strength is different than a guy maybe that's got to throw with a ton of anticipation, which Joe throws with great anticipation, but he's got a little more power to make up. So if he's not sure where the guy is, he's got a little more juice to make up for it and put the ball in a spot where the receiver can still have an attempt to go get it.
The fact that you do go to Green Bay and then have a short turnaround, does that put even more emphasis on the amount of work that has to get done this week in terms of installing everything?
No, you're focused on one game at a time. I only made that comment because you were asking about the extra work with receivers, and I have to be mindful of that from a physical standpoint. But no, we're focused on this game, and we'll attack next week when we get to next week.
Couple more injuries.
What has Micah Parsons, I mean, before the Cowboys game
Yeah.
last year, you guys talked about, how much respect you had for him. What has he brought to Green Bay's defense since he got there?
Well, it's a great defense, number one. And with Micah, it continues to be a great defense. And he does a great job affecting the passer. They all do up front. It's a really good unit. They're well coached. Hafley does a great job. Matt does a great job. These guys are in sync with each other, and they do a great job affecting the passer. So Micah Parsons, obviously an elite player in this league. Got to be very aware of him. They got other guys you got to be aware of too. So big challenge for us.
Some injury housekeeping, what's the plan for Shamar Stewart this week?
Start back practicing individual. We'll see how much he can handle today. See if we increase it tomorrow, but we'll just take it day to day with him right now.
Any other guys you expect to be limited today and tomorrow?
I'm just going to be mindful of some of the receivers, and so just making sure that limit them through the week. They'll do some spot work and then see where we're at.
That's not necessarily conducive to maybe long-term injury prognosis for the
No.
It's just load management.
Yes.
Flacco played pretty well against you in week 1. What impression did he make on you in that?
Well, I've always been impressed, and I think we've got a elite receiving core that will complement him very well. And so again, he throws the ball on time, throws it to the location it's supposed to be, and again, I'm always proud of the way that Troy gets those guys, and that's a lot of the. It's important to them too. They understand the locations and the timing and when the ball's going to be out, and they do a great job with their communication with the quarterbacks in that way. So I just think he's a really good fit with our style of play and the guys we have.
Could his arm strength give you another wrinkle or element as you work with him from a playbook standpoint?
I mean, sure, he's unique that way. He's unique. So again, it's however that fits our system as we continue to go. We'll make sure we do that.
And then with Shamar, you obviously play Thursday night next week. Do you
Yeah.
consider that at all with a guy coming back?
We're just going to take it one day at a time with him. He's going to get out there today and do some individual, see how he feels physically. He's ready for that point now. So no reason to think that far ahead yet. We'll just focus on today, see where he's at, and then approach tomorrow, whatever fits him best.
I know you have tunnel vision on what you're doing here, but when you look across the AFC, it does feel pretty wide open this year after 5 weeks. Is there a thought of, we're not going to punt on this season, we got to go get a guy that can help us win games and get back in this thing with getting Joe?
Yes, our mindset is always, what can we do to improve our team? And that's my mindset, Duke, ownership, everybody involved. And so, again, this is the move we felt we needed to make right now, and excited about it.